First day of college in a new city, in a new state in India. I was all excited for the extra freedom. There was one name I heard over and over. It was Mr. A. He was popular for the wrong reasons. He was named the meanest professor of all. Fourth day into the college, Mr. A was giving a physics lecture. All of a sudden, I noticed that he was teaching something wrong. And I felt it was my duty and dharma, which means the right thing to do, to interrupt him and correct him. Because I saw all my classmates taking notes of it. You know, in college, nobody's really going to study a 500-page textbook. We all rely on those notes before the day of the exam. So I interrupt Mr. A and tell him that he's teaching the concept other way around. Well, it's a complex physics concept, but I'll cite with a simple example so you can visualize it better. We all know 8 plus 2 equal to 10 and 8 minus 2 equal to 6. But he was teaching it as 8 plus 2 equal to 10 and 8 minus 2 is equal to 10. So he asked me, how did I know if it's right or wrong? I told him because it's the same concept I learned in 12th grade. First grade undergrad physics is pretty much same as 12th grade physics. He didn't argue with me much and he told me to discuss about this in his staff room after the class. Mr. A leaves the classroom. All my classmates are on my face. Sowmya, what's wrong with you? Mr. A is going to fail you now. Well, the way things worked in India then was, all of our tests were graded outside the college. Only the physics and chemistry lab are in the hands of the professor. So the professor can pretty much decide to give you a 0 or 45 by 100, which is just a pass mark, or 100 by 100. I told my classmates I thought it was the right thing to do. So I go to the staff room, see Mr. A, and he was ready with the textbook. So I tell him, Mr. A, this is what I mean. This is how the concept should be taught. And here's the funny story. He flips the story and tells me he was teaching as it's in the textbook and I was the one who interrupted him and said it's the other way around. I thought Mr. A is confused again. Well, he made a deal with me. He told me if I could get any 3 students out of the 100 students in my classroom to agree with me, I'm all good. If not, there will be some consequences. So I go try to talk to my classmates, and I thought it's easy peasy, just 3 out of 100. To my surprise, nobody wanted to get in trouble or get a 0 in their final physics test. Finally, Beryl, Dheeraj, and Mary agreed to come and support me. So Beryl comes and tells him that I was the one who said the concept as it's in the textbook. And Dheeraj agreed with her. But Mary told Mr. A that he was teaching as it's in the textbook and I was the one who interrupted him and said it's the other way around. I thought now Mary is confused too. And Mr. A had this wicked smile on his face because I could not get 3 students to agree with me. So I followed Mary and asked Mary, it was me who said it as it's in the textbook. To see if she really forgot or what's happening. And this was Mary's response. You know what, Sowmya? Sometimes we need to lie in life to get a good impression from the professor. I was like, in my mind, WTF. I did not know the 4-letter F word. If I would have known, I would have used it on her face. So Mr. A comes to the classroom next day and says, "Oh, looks like we have a physics expert, Sowmya. Now she's going to teach us a new concept, thermodynamics." So he would actually make me teach a new concept for almost 2 weeks for the first 10 minutes. Luckily, my memory was way good then than it's now. And all those concepts, at least 80 to 90% of the concepts, were from my 12th grade. Slowly, after a few weeks passed, he stopped picking on me, and I was hoping that he realized I was not an arrogant student and I was just trying to do the right thing. Few months passed by, and it's the final day of judgment. Everybody is waiting to see if he's going to fail me or give me a 0 or 45. So there were 34 physics lab tests that we need to prepare for. And I prepared for 33 of them, and I just leave one out. The way the test works is there are like different papers on a table, and you just pick one. They're upside down. You pick one and go sit at your desk. So once I go to my desk, it was my lucky day. I got the only physics lab test I didn't prepare for. So I lie down on the table for half an hour doing nothing on my desk. And then the lab assistant, the TA, sees me and asks me what's happening. When I told him, I don't know how to do this, he offered me to put this paper back and pick a different one. I didn't feel it's the right thing to do because that's not how things work. And then I saw Mr. A coming. Then Mr. A noticed me and he asked me what's happening. When I told him, he actually got me my physics lab manual and told me to copy the values. See, copying the values from a textbook or a lab manual is not okay in India. It's equal to cheating. I thought he was trying to get me in more trouble because already I'm getting a 0. I refused the offer. Then he actually told me to get out of my desk, and he actually sat at my desk and did the whole experiment for me. I still didn't know what was happening. And then he told me to note down the values on my answer sheet. When he compelled me to do it, I finally have written down the values. And this lab experiment is concluded by 3 questions asked by the professor regarding the experiment. So this is what Mr. A tells me. Sowmya, I know you didn't really prepare for this experiment, so I'm going to make it easy for you. I'll just ask a simple yes or no question. If you get it right, I'm going to give you 100 out of 100. If you get it wrong, I'll give you a 0. I thought that sounds fair for somebody who's going to get a 0. I thought it's the best thing for me. But remember, it's my lucky day. A simple yes or no question, I got it wrong. Then I see Beryl, my friend who supported me in the very beginning, struggling here on the experiment, not as bad as I did. And then I see Mary on the other side, acing her experiment, doing an excellent job. In the end, I also noticed Beryl struggling with her questions, final 3 questions, whereas Mary did an excellent job. Few months passed by. Mary comes to the dorm really upset because she got only 45 out of 100, where she did everything right in the test. Then I look at Beryl's face, realizing then that means both me and Beryl got a 0 because we didn't do that well in the test. But to our surprise, when we checked the results, both of us got 100 out of 100. That's when I realized Mr. A knew from the very beginning that Mary lied just to get a good impression from him. And I wondered what made me stand up for my whole class in the very first week. Indian culture is abided by dharma, which means doing the right thing, which is good for everyone. When I saw all my classmates are taking notes of a wrong concept and that was going to affect their test scores, that was the reason I actually stood up on that very first week. So that's when I realized when our actions, karma, aligns with dharma, doing the right thing, all will be well in the very end. Thank you.